So the revolution is going to happen in human intelligence, which is really what you're paralleling.
Yeah.
The challenge I find, so beyond all of that, if I want to, it's moved from attention to intention, I believe. So if we're part of a new economy called the intention economy, how do you think creative will cut through today? Because I will tell you the discussions that I've had, and keep me honest here, is that people are saying experiential is the new transformation. I'm like, whoa. That means, what do you mean? They're like pop-ups, real things.
A very personal experience, a luxury experience. Luxury brands love experiential because it's all about, and they didn't think that actually e-commerce, but people are buying fucking yachts on e-commerce. Right. You can buy a Rolls Royce and you can buy Dior, but you know, so what it was, you know, the simple funnel was at the top. You obviously have less engagement, but you have more people. Obviously, the lower, you know, the more immersive. Let's call it not experiential, more immersive it is. But immersive can be defined in so many different ways. It doesn't have to be a pop-up store or a physical. But it is still true, I think, that the more immersive, the longer someone spends, the more that you actually understand them, the more that you can actually layer them in the story, the message, the nuance, you know, and of course luxury brands are great at this, you know, it's that attention to detail.
This is gradation between the communal and the personal.
Of course.
Some of the personal stuff is lower funnel advertising. But to me, the most important part of the funnel you're talking about is the middle. Because the middle is how you understand and the value of a product. It clarifies the value. And by the way, the middle can also migrate to the top. That's what Steve Jobs did. It's an app to that. 10,000 songs a week.
Completely. And I'd love to build on that because I do think...
He's a media guy, so he's excited.
No, I get excited. No, I remember there was, I have sort of 3 C's. Marketing Nirvana was content, contact, and context. You know, the harmony. And... it always was and always would be. It's actually really difficult getting it because we've been bifurcated.
I go back to when I first met you, the whole landscape has changed, almost like the internet changed everything. What are the things that you would expect to see if we came back 5 years from now? What would be different about Cannes, and where do you think relationships, brands, and really growth is going to come from?
So, if you want to know the truth, nothing has changed, in my view, Cannes since the day they started it, because we still, when we're here, those of us who believe in the festival, celebrate creativity.
Yes.
So what's happened is there's been an explosion of channels.
Right.
There's been an explosion of verticals.
Right.
But at the end of the day, it's the same basic creativity.
Yeah.
You either have an insight and you use that insight to create an asset. We just didn't know there were assets in those days. To create an asset that talks to the people that you need to talk to, or you don't. And if you don't have creativity, technology is irrelevant. See, technology needs creativity. Creativity does not need technology.
You were telling me that if I was on my phone, the average person is just announced 9 hours a day on their phone.
Way too long.
How many hours a day should someone who wants to be hyper-connected in creativity?
I don't know. I think it depends. They think that's hyper-connected. But see, I don't think that swiping TikTok for 9 hours gives you hyper-connectivity to culture. We pretend that it does. Yeah. But most of that culture is ephemeral.
It's low calorie.
It goes away.
It's low calorie.
It's low calorie. It's totally 0 calorie.
Yeah.
It's just like you're swiping, it goes away. Right. Think about all the stuff that went viral. And then all the clients would come and say, David, make me a viral. Okay, great. Harry Potter, you're a viral. Think about all of those things that went viral. Nobody remembers them.
Right.
Oh my God, like it got 1 million views. Guess we were just talking about this before. The Super Bowl gets 4 million views.
Right.
So it doesn't make one better than the other. It's just that you have to have a sense of
cultural connection.
Of the culture.
Seriously, if you think about the evolution of creativity, particularly this is 76 years and we've been here for a couple of decades, what's super hot where you're representing today is sports. There's something interesting, I think, about brands having to not represent culture, but be the culture. And do you think that is a fair statement, or do you believe that it's still representation? And while you're thinking about that, does Cannes matter?
All right, so let's step back. Let's step back, because this is a big question you're asking. I think it's like the first time we ever met you asked me a question. So here's the truth, right? If you go back, I'm just going to talk about America first. If you go back to the 60s, 70s, even into the 80s and 90s, nobody in America ever heard of Ken, right? It was a European festival at best, and even in the beginning, when American agencies discovered it, they would complain every year that they weren't winning anything, which is probably true because the juries were all biased. So why was it? Why did Cannes start? Because Cannes came at the end of the film festival, because in those days, all good advertising in Europe was film. It was in cinema. So it was brilliant. It put it all together. And then it grew and it grew and it grew, and then we get involved in America. You got it. Now, why is that important? It's important because the advertising was culture and always has been culture.
So how do you as a modern brand, how do you create connection?
You create great advertising. Right. See, data is in
simplicity of that.
Data is in service of great creativity. Yeah. Tech is in service of great creativity. Right? Creativity doesn't need tech. It always had data. It always had insight. But it doesn't need tech. Tech needs data. Like, that's how we have to think. Tech is this great enabler. But without the creative, it's just like a software loop. And then you put in this performance stuff, which just says, hey, Shingy, we got this. This is what you really want. Like, no, you don't. So, of course, you block it.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, why is the Super Bowl still so powerful? Like, think about it, right? So, first of all, you got 4 billion people watching, which is okay. But this is not a bad thing.
At least till halftime.
Right? That's not like, this halftime. That's not a bad thing for one. Like, if you think about it, that's as big as anything that ever happens online. But people love that kind of ad. They want to see it. They want the emotion. They love it because every great ad, and again, I'm talking now video, which of course is still the primary medium. So think about this. We say television is dead. We say this is dead. That's it. Bullshit. We're still doing video.
Yeah, I agree.
And 60 seconds. No, they're not. So it's 61 seconds now because we're not. It's the same. It's the same. But the best stuff is the stuff that's creating emotion. The stuff that's making a connection. The stuff that makes you think you want to take that line and use it in a conversation with a friend. You want to come and say something. You want to use it in a joke, or maybe it talk to you in a serious way. It doesn't make a difference. Real, by definition, is real. People crave real. And I think that the more we get into the AI world, the more that AI becomes prevalent, it's going to create lots and lots of lookalike commodity, and the people who are going to win are the people who get when it needs to be real.
What do you have to do as a business to have a creative environment or culture, or how do you manufacture it? How does that happen?
Well, I think if you really are serious and if you believe that in this business creativity is an economic multiplier, before you can do anything, you have to, one, create a creative culture within the company itself, the agency, but you also have to find the clients that also believe in the power of creativity, and you have to help them create a culture. I've never done outstanding creative without a client partner who truly believed it was going to matter to their business. Not cute for reputation or something nice to have, but an imperative.
What do you have to hit? If we had 100 ideas in front of us, how do you think about choosing the ideas? Like what do you know resonates? Or what's your formula?
I'm a little businessy.
Yeah.
So, because I think this is a business. Otherwise, I'd just be an artist.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't. But also, artists go through the same struggles. But the first thing that I like what I've told people at FCB is that find your platform first. And I don't think we understand what a platform is.
Right.
It is not a campaign.
Right.
It's not it's not one of those advertising ideas. A platform is something that I say it's your soul.
Right.
And you don't get to transform your soul.
Yeah.
You are your soul. If the brands that have a strong belief on what they do in the world beyond make a profit,
yeah,
they're going to get to create it faster. And so I look at the work that, first of all, if we were building a brand, which one is going to make that platform light up in this moment? So it's the point of view of the brand in the world,
Yeah.
and then what's happening on the business, what's happening in culture, what do your customers want. That's the first thing.
Right.
You know, at FCB, we've put a finer point in it, is that we do timely and timeless, hopefully together.
Right.
So we honor the brand and
Right.
and honor the business. And so the business is a timely, creative idea that also honors the brand platform, the brand ethos, the brand soul.
What, for younger people who might be watching this that are in charge of creativity or like coming out of high school, coming out of college, what are the things you do personally to hit yourself with the creative energy and thinking? Do you have a system every day? Do you just experience the world? Do you have time periods where you're like, I'm in a creative zone, I'm going to focus in and pay attention right now, I'm going to do something? What if I climbed into your brain and found the times where you have created creativity or the process of creativity?
Yeah.
What is that?
First of all, I always say I don't procrastinate, I'm percolating.
Yeah.
This is not procrastination, it's
Yes.
percolation. I think in a weird way, we kind of behave like AI at first, which is you just want tons
Right.
of information that
Right.
seems relative
Right.
to what you're doing.
Right.
And I think you feed yourself with that, which is what I like about AI, because that used to take a lot of time, and now you can let AI go, sum this all up and show me what this is going on. I would say to young people, be careful, because I've been hearing a lot about young people using ChatGPT and other AIs, and they feed all the brief and everything, and guess what happens?
Commoditization.
Everybody
Is it?
comes in with the same idea.
Really?
Especially freelancers, it's like they all come in with the same idea.
You can see it.
Well, because it's the same.
Yeah. Well, by definition, AI is the
It's-
average of humanity.
Exactly.
So, like, you're like,
And so what I would say to young people is
Sprint into the average.
Yeah, let that get you to the average
Yeah.
fast.
what do you see? Because outdoor is really hard. You have to come up with like a super solid idea. And I always respect outdoor, because the outdoor that works is because someone came up with a genius idea. But how do you see technology fitting into outdoor? And how do you think about creativity and technology together, separate? Like, what's the viewpoint that you see running an entire industry that's focused on ideas?
Well, I think it's really interesting because outdoor is the oldest form of advertising, right? It goes back to the cane painting. So obviously not very digital or tech savvy in the beginning, even though I'm sure that pencil was like, in a sense, tech savvy, right? But it's been a very, I guess, analog medium for the longest time, and I think that kind of created the beauty of outdoor and, you know, the hardship of creating outdoor ads, because they have to be so to the point and so perfect. I think now technology has come in as a really interesting tool, because now you can just create that extra layer. So I'll give you an example. The Grand Prix winner in the outdoor category here was Pedigree. It was a really cool dog ad, or dog food ad, I should say. But, you know, it's about rescue dogs. So rather than posting this like sad, weepy story of these poor dogs that are dying, right? Like, they used AI technology to beautify the dogs, make them look kind of happy and like models, to model the dog food. And then there was a QR code, which I'm sure you would like, your Flowcode, that you could, you know, scan, and then you could adopt the dog. So AI played a role in like making the creative so much better, and then use data and just important data around kind of where, you know, these dogs would fit. Big dogs in an area where there are big homes, or small dogs in an area where there are people live in apartments. I mean, I don't really know what played into that, but you use technology and data in a really cool way to just create better storytelling and better creative.
If you went 10 years from now and you thought about outdoor and the things that outdoor will have inside of it, or some things that don't change, what do you think over the next 10 years will be the things that consumers will see and that creatives will work on?
I think there's just going to be so much more digital, right? Like we see so much interest in anamorphic billboards and just the beautiful digital technology. Screens are going to get so much better. They're going to be everywhere. So I think the medium is going to, in a good way, explode.
Yeah.
At the same time, I still really believe in the power of a beautiful mural and like what you can do with statics. I think we're never going to be an entirely digital medium. It's really about the location and who's in the location than the sign, right? Like it is a location-based medium. So I think we're still going to see it. Out of home is probably not going to change that much. We haven't for thousands of years.
Yeah.
Technology is going to make it better and sharper.
Yeah.
But I think the essence of it is going to remain the same, which, by the way, is the only platform that has been true for.
how important is the real estate side of the most important IRL places to be in the world?
Incredibly important. I mean, it is all about the real estate and where you show up. And in a world where, you know, it's harder and harder to target, it's going to be increasingly important with context. So I think for the whole outdoor industry, it's to pick up that ball and run with it, right?
Yeah.
Like, because we have such an opportunity right now, because no one else can get in front of an audience like we can at scale, and with technology and with just being able to fine tune basically real time, we can adhere to public like events or
Yes.
what people like, what they don't like, public sentiment. We can test ads. Like, so there's just such an opportunity for us to be a more powerful medium. Who does it well? I mean, I still think Apple does it well. It's super simple, in the right location, really works. And it's interesting that one of the world's most digital brands still do like static, very traditional advertising.
Yeah,
So
no, it's amazing. I think it's like, if you think about, I feel like outdoor and the Super Bowl are the only two things that still get a large audience at the same time to see the same creative, and I'm always interested that Apple kind of focuses on that.
And then I have to say, Super Bowl was a great example because you have, in my opinion, the Super Bowls this year were kind of like, but the outdoor executions in Vegas were insane.
Right.
The Sphere, the Don Julio bottle that was projected on the Eiffel Tower, the Dorito on the Luxor Hotel. I mean, those got just as much traction.
Yeah.
Were probably not cheap, but a ton cheaper, and are still living on in a different way. So
that's what made me think about that when I was at the Super Bowl this year. I thought the only really two things I thought about were the game and those outdoor executions.
They were like insane.
Insane.
Yeah,
and I think
absolutely.
Sphere has done an amazing job also, I think, of getting people's mindset to how important.
For sure, but
Yes.
again, from a creativity perspective, I still think the Don Julio bottle was the most genius thing. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff.
Well, Anna, thanks for joining us, Ken. I know you're busy and doing a lot of panels this week, and you're about to go do another one. So I hope you have a great rest of the week, and appreciate you. And we'll keep getting updates from you as we go.
Well, likewise, and thank you so much for having me.
Awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.